I know I never remember. But anyway, so I'm so excited about this poster. This is great.
We're all a little rusty on our Zoom
Everything.
meetings. Okay,
Yeah.
but thanks for sharing that, Caitlin. And so now we're going to move on to other meetings and presentations. I'm not exactly sure who has one coming up next, but it's either Dustin or Mike, I suspect.
Yeah.
Dustin very quickly, I think.
I will be also doing a poster at the AAA's on I believe the poster presentations on the 20th. And right now, Shauna, Mike, and I are working on a poster because Mike will also be using this for the SFAA. The big difference being that the AAA poster is 4 foot by 6 foot in size. So I'm that'll be interesting. I've never.
You can put a big old map of the coast in the middle there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would emphasize also, guys, that the intent of this coding, that is to feed back into a analysis by a BOEM researcher as to the possible impacts, and it's part of the NEPA and EPA process. EIS process.
Well, that's good. We're putting it together this weekend, so we'll definitely get that. We'll make sure that that's included. That reminds me of a little bit of paperwork on presentations. So we're going to need to have this printed somewhere else and shipped because it's 4 feet by 6 feet, and we can't carry that on a plane. They'll print it for free here, but you know, we can't, that's not going to work. So we have to have it shipped. So I'll be contacting you, Gary, to, I'll set up all the invoice and all that. I think we've already talked about that, didn't we?
Yeah, a little. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's
Are y'all going to share that with us? I don't know that I've ever seen a 4 foot by 6 foot poster. I'm really curious.
Yes, in fact, we have to officially ask for permission, but we'll have it. We're trying to get it done for this weekend so that we can submit it to you. That's a good thing to remind me of, that we're
Just
trying
do
to
it.
so that we can submit it.
I can fold it up and bring it back.
I could make all kinds of jokes, I think, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, I'm censoring myself also.
We have a cube you could hang it in, Dustin.
I think for the record, Dr. Luton just gave you permission.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. So we will go forward and get that
For
printed.
some of us in the room, I know y'all all know what you're talking about, but those two anthropology groups, like I don't know how to tell them apart. Like the AAA and the FAA, whatever, is that Future Farmers of America or something?
SFAA, Society for Applied Anthropology.
Yeah.
Society for Applied.
That conference actually has, it's probably 50% non-anthropologists, people working in the medical field, primary, nurse practitioners, doctors.
It has more content.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Let's not beat around the bush.
Yeah.
it's a little bit smaller too, which is more manageable.
Yeah.
That's still big, but
Yeah.
But that's the one that Mike is going to, SFAA. And then Dustin, can you remind us again, the one that you're going to?
I'm going to the American Anthropological Association, which is the big umbrella conference for anthropologists.
Right.
I've never been to the SFAs, but I think my understanding would be that there are more people that are doing anthropology, and the AAAs is a lot more people thinking about doing anthropology.
Yeah, looking for jobs or to get laid.
So Dustin, they're the
Don't
armchair
forget we're being
archaeologists.
recorded. Say that again, Miss Kathleen.
They're the armchair anthropologists.
Yeah. You're lucky if they stay in the armchair.
And there are none in this meeting, I'm sure.
So what are the chances that you have a poster that has max QDA on there and like a whole bunch of people are using max QDA, or still not that many people are?
I would say most people would be familiar with it.
Yeah.
They run a lot of workshops too at the AAA conferences.
And along those lines, those screenshots, Caitlin, that you had, I think those are great. That's kind of what we're looking for with or what we'll put together with the excerpt and the coding list. At least I believe so. I think that's what Shauna and Dustin and I are kind of aiming for. Although again, I don't know how we're going to put a 4x6 poster into a 60 by 30 inch poster for my conference.
Just reduce it and give people magnifying glasses.
Well, all of that represents some progress on this project. I think all of us academics recognize that the first step to publishing is usually you kind of present preliminary stuff in a poster, and maybe within 6 months you have something that is probably ready to be submitted as a publication, perhaps, or something like that. It's the step along the way. So we're all used to doing it, but if you take a step away from academia, this is that part of academia where you communicate your findings and your ideas with your peers, and they give you feedback, and then you can kind of tweak your own project a little bit according to the feedback. So sometimes we don't necessarily describe it that way, but that's pretty much what these conferences are all about. I think that's a step in the right direction.
Okay, great. Should we count on from Caitlin and from Dustin next time around a short what I sort of, what questions people asked, and not a big thing, Caitlin, not big, just like 2 minutes, on how it went.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to hearing some feedback.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be useful as well to see what kind of, as Gary said, what kind of questions people ask.
How's the dissertation coming, Dustin?
It's coming.
Be prepared when you transition to BOEM that you're going to be given a lot of training. Your days are going to be full. Do they send people away for training now, Hare, or do they do
No,
it? Okay.
because of COVID.
Okay.
Okay, we're coming up on the third agenda item, which is a coding update on a class called Humanities 420. Shauna, are you ready to give us an update on that?
Very quickly, I'll just let you know that, and some of you already know this, that so just for those who don't have the background, Humanities 420 was one of the team's ideas for how to get more students involved in this process and develop people as coders. And so we taught a humanities class on where the first part of the class, they read a whole bunch of texts about the Bayou. And the second part of the class, they each picked, at which we're in now, they've picked a project, each of them. So I should have provided a list, and I will provide that, Cindy, as a deliverable. So right now, I'm just going to do off the top of my head as much as I can. I think I sent some of these around. We've got one person doing a project on the history of hunting and fishing regulations in the Bayou region, and coding some oral histories along with that, also interviewing some of his family. And then we've got a person doing one on Akova Island. Do you know this island?
Avoca Island, perhaps.
Avoca. I said it wrong. I got it.
Avoca is a voice, like,
Avoca.
and that is a little island by Morgan City that you can only get to by ferry. It's got a pretty cool history. Maybe Kathleen was going to say something about that.
Yeah,
And
Kathleen.
I was going to say, very, very important in history in the Morgan City area, because it's one of the most important because Avoca Island was really a big farming area that supported the economy of Morgan City. They had a, I want to say they had a sugar mill on Avoca
Yeah.
Island.
They did. That's one of the few things that I could find about the island is that they had this mill. But apparently part of the history is that after the Civil War, that some land got ceded both to Native peoples and to African Americans who lived there, and that those people eventually wound up getting pushed off.
Yes, I was going to say, yeah.
As is the story everywhere. So she's looking at that relationship between those people who lived on that island and farmed it and had that land and the oil. She's trying to look at the oil industry. She's not going to go too deep because she's just going to be working on this for a month.
What is it, Gary? I don't know, haven't kept up too much, but when I was younger, right after high school, and I was getting ready to, after I got married, I think Avoca Island was like a private thing now, that it's like hunting, specifically for hunting, like a hunting club.
Yeah,
If
but
I'm
it's
not
one of those weird
mistaken.
things that there is a public road on it. And so there's a
Yeah.
public ferry to get on it. And so people like Entergy can get on there and work on power lines. But when you're just a regular old person like me and you take the ferry, there's somebody on the other side kind of looking at you like, what are you doing on this island?
Yeah, I mean, they have like a, I don't know, from lack of a better word, security, a type of
Yeah.
security person,
It's weird.
and you can't just go.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I wanted to go visit the old sugar mill, sugar mill, just, for
Yeah.
interest. And they said, no, you can't go. You have to get permission from such and such and such. So, yeah, it's kind of an exclusive island now, as they say.
I think it's fascinating that she's doing this, and we'll see what she's able to get. She's got their old deeds to the property from back in the day, but we'll see what it turns into. So in addition to their research, of course, everybody is coding one document for the project. So that's going to add 9 coded documents. Of those, I would say 4 or 5 of the students will probably do. I'm really impressed with about, well, let's say 3 or 4 of the students who are probably we're going to be able to use those in our project. So, and we did have one student who was an honors student, and apparently she's having to drop out of the honors college because Ida, dislocation, and she was going to do her thesis on this, but she's going to be looking at also like, she's looking at, I think she's looking at the blessing of the fleet. We do have a student also, this is for Gary, he'll be contacting you. He's doing his project on the Chauvin Sculpture Garden.
Okay.
And outsider art. And we've got a person looking at the Shrimp and Petroleum Festival, another Morgan City person, and one person looking at the legend of the Rougarou and the Rougarou Fest, and one person looking at health things. Some of them are very focused on like just their personal interests within a setting of a fishing and oil economy. And then others of them, we've got at least 2 people. One guy's looking at, I don't know if y'all saw it, but ProPublica just put out a huge map of huge map, just got published like a couple of weeks ago about Cancer Alley. They're looking again at Cancer Alley in the US, and they've mapped, ProPublica's mapped every single oil refining place and any kind of related petrochemical industry, and then overlaid these maps. It's very nice. So he's looking at that and looking at environmental justice. And I can't remember some of the others, but I will include a whole list, see if anybody has any particular things of particular interest. So it's I think it's pretty good. And I think they're training, they're coming together and going to do some pretty decent work. The drawback, our other part of this plan was to get coders out of this. I think we have 2 potential coders. One of them, however, is a graduating senior. She's interested in doing it in the spring, but will not be continuing. This seems to be the story of ours so far. We only have one person who's a sophomore who's interested, and she's still on the fence. So we'll see how this coding project goes and if we can develop her. She's actually from Mobile and is here from Mobile, but her folks are from somewhere around here. So she's got people near here, but she's really interested in that. Okay, oh, we have one student who is doing hers on Native Americans in the oil industry in the Bayou region. So she's drawing on looking at, in general, ownership patterns and what's happened with the oil industry and participation, lower participation of Native Americans in the oil industry.
Okay, any questions for Dr. Walton?
Shauna,
You reverse muted, Lisa.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. One of the projects I'm working on is an NSF funded project on noise pollution. And one aspect of what we do is coding. I'm not sure if you would be interested in me seeing if anybody, I don't know what you're looking for exactly, or if this would in any way fit, but if you're just looking for anyone who has coding experience and who might be interested in the project, maybe we can chat later and see if maybe I can see if anybody that in our current project would be interested.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk about that. That's great. Thank you very much. Yeah, and we're training people. So I'm in the process of training the students now. The students have had one round of practice coding and they've turned in one practice. They're all coding the same document, and then I'm looking at it and seeing how they do. And they're doing pretty good. They keep forgetting. Then this is a weird one. So all of y'all who are doing coding, you know what they keep forgetting is temporality. So that's the code that seems to be tripping them up the most. They just forget to think about how it situates itself. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not just temporality, it's place and time. So how something is situated, if it's not specifically mentioned, they're real good about figuring out that if they're talking about, household income, that's an individual and they can talk about that. Or if they're good at making the connections between, if they're talking about this, then it fits in this larger category, that's fine. But remembering to think in terms of place and time, that seems to be their biggest struggle. And it's not that they don't know it. If you say, oh, place and time, then they go, oh yeah, because it's obvious, but it's just they forget to do it. So any tips for helping them remember? I mean, it's just a conceptual thing, right? Anyway, so that's how they're doing.
Is that duplicated with the metadata?
That is such a good question. So we have not, I think that's one thing that as a coding group, we have not talked about sufficiently, is how that we're doing our metadata, which in MaxQDA, they don't call it metadata. We would be thinking of it as variables, like gender. And this is something that we've talked about generally, is that we need to develop our metadata categories or variable categories. And that is something we have not done as a group. And so I'm really glad that you brought that up, and we need to put that on the, but that's a really good question. The problem is, of course, they're pretty good if they mention a specific year in it, but you're right that if they just talk about time in general senses, like when I was a kid, that's what I'm talking about. They don't think about marking temporality. But I'm not thinking about coding temporal. I'm not saying not coding the whole thing. So I wasn't thinking about the metadata. Do you see what
But-
I'm saying?
Yeah, and what I'm trying to say is that it's a good way to reinforce an awareness of space and time, because
Yeah.
that certainly has to be a foundation of the metadata or the variables.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that's something, you know, we were so excited. It took us a whole year to get the code book. And I think we were so excited when we got the code book and it works. So far, they're not encountering any problems. And y'all, that says a lot. I forgot to say that. They seem to not be having any problems. And the thing I'm really proud of is that the concepts are pretty much understandable to these non-specialist, you know, college juniors and seniors who, frankly, were not sitting around saying, hey, what I want to do in life is code, you know.
You don't have anybody like that?
No, I don't. I don't even have anybody who's interested in the social sciences. These people are coming from art, English, business, a lot of business, all kinds of places, but nobody in the social sciences. So I'm just pleased with how easily they're grasping the concepts. I mean, there's two ways to think of it. One, that we've done a really great job with the coding guide, or two, this is not brain surgery. And we'll just figure it out.
At
Yeah.
least with brain surgery, if you screw up, they don't remember.
Yeah, and it may also be the things that I'm encouraging them to code right now. We're not working on a whole lot of I'm not encouraging them to code really technical documents. We're focusing, and I told y'all this in the last meeting, I'm having them focus on coding oral histories. Just because it's just so much easier than trying to code a technical document. Yeah, and they enjoy reading it. Yeah, anyway, I think that's the report. I went over my time.
Thanks, Shauna. Sounds like you're making some pretty cool progress with that class. So item number 4 is new coding documents and goals for the month. And that's from Shauna and Harry and Don.
I
New
was just
coding
gonna throw
documents.
it open. What's our I guess it's not new. What's our next step, guys? So we've gotten, in fact, Gary was just asking me to say, what have we gotten? I think we have 4 documents coded. I have to go back and see, but we have the Blessing of the Fleet. We have that report by Colton and Himmerling coded. We have the labor migration report coded.
Austin, maybe Diane Austin, Morgan City. No,
We have, yeah, that's the 4th. Yeah. So we have 4 documents coded so far, and Mike has been asking for another one. And my students are working on the oral histories from Lafourche Parish. What direction do y'all want us to go from here? Does anybody have any preferences?
Well, this is Don. My recommendation, because we have a further step beyond this, we've got max QDA coding, and then we've got SPSS coding. But I think we need a critical mass of max QDA materials before I'd want to start training in SPSS. So my advice would be to start work. Harry presented that list of, potential coding sources, and prioritize that list, and then just code. Spend most of our time not talking about code, talking about the codes, but just doing the coding, and getting a critical mass of that together, then take the next step.
I think we need a meeting to discuss how we should prioritize this, where we really look at the documents and decide what sort of documents we should put at the top of the list, based on what we want to get out of it. And what we think people can do best.
The thing that I was telling Shauna was that it would kind of help me as we're starting to almost report on the success of our project. It would help me if I had one folder of all the things we want to code and another
Right.
folder of all the things that we already coded. And
I agree. I just say if we're going to put them in some order, I think we really have to sit down for an hour and talk about the order we're going to put them in, is all. And we could do it over the weekend maybe and have the list on Monday ready or something like that. I don't want to beat around the bush because I think it's time to start that list. I'm going to start working on it. This is time for that transition, as Don says, to start pumping out the coded documents.
Yeah.
So would you want to have another meeting next week, like a smaller meeting, like Monday or Tuesday or something?
Yeah. Monday morning, if we could. Do people have Monday morning?
Monday's better for me than Tuesday. I teach all day on Tuesday.
So I think we need to find Harry's list.
I've got Harry's list and I've got it. I've got them all listed, and I did this all for the students, and we've got that list, but it is huge. And I've merged Harry's list with Dustin. Also made a list of some documents that and I've put all those together, and we're somewhere around, like, our first pass right now is something like 60 documents. I don't know. It's just too much. And I can't,
right.
When I look at it, it's like, every time I look at it, there's so much. I don't know where to start. And even though we keep making these lists, I still don't know where to start exactly. Does that make sense?
I think that if we talk for like half an hour or an hour, we can come up with 20 to start with.
Okay.
But could you email that out
Yes. I can
as a
resend
Word
it.
file so that
Yes.
we're all working off the same list?
Right.
And the homework would be to check off with a red line or something, your top 10 out of that list. And then
And think about why you're picking them. What we want to, the material we want coded, the kind of material and why.
Right. Yeah, and I also added some stuff to it. I've been going through LSU's dissertations and theses, and every now and then just sticking stuff in, because that is my fantasy job, that I will just research things.
There's some great LSU dissertations. Some of the master's theses that
Yes.
I used to read are just wonderful. I don't know how you got master's people like that.
LSU's got it all online now, so I can just go through and I can just download those puppies.
Are all the old master theses online?
Not all of them, but a bunch of them are.
Yeah. I gladly stand in front of a Xerox machine and Xerox some of them that aren't, because they're worth their weight in gold, some of them.
But they're there, so we don't even have to do that. And then I've been trying to poke around, like Kathleen has said, and try and find out what people have, because all these people who've come down and done stuff, anyway, that's
okay. So let's do that. Let's make a list. We can make the first 20 and then go crazy and make the second 20 and then the third. And by then I'm 75 now, I'll be 85 by then. And then we can do the ones that take me to 5.
Okay, but
It'd be great.
My suggestion is that each individual pick their top 10 and then we'll argue from the top 10. Don't have top 20. because
Okay.
it takes a lot more than an hour.
Okay, all right, top
Take a
10.
couple of weeks.
Okay,
Don't you think we should just meet on Friday?
tomorrow?
Do we really need to do it on Monday? Is Monday the better day for most of y'all? Because I tend to have Friday
Friday's
reserved.
fine.
I have
Friday
Friday
is fine.
reserved.
Yeah.
If we have the meeting and resolve it, it's fine with me. I just want to get going. Everybody wants to get going. Friday's fine.
Harry's just seeing the end of the job and he's like, I've got
Yeah.
this, I want to get through it, but let's go, let's do, it would work a lot better for me on Friday too, because
Okay,
one thing is I've got to finish your report. And, you know, I need this weekend and Monday to do
okay,
that.
okay, yeah, that's true because I have to come to, I have to take it to the editor with another report. And if I don't have it in hand, it'll be like showing up with my, without my pants on. So, yeah, you have
That's
to,
happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, that's good.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay, Friday at what time?
Can we keep it the same time? Because this is a time I've already got blocked off.
Okay, 9 o'clock,
Mhm.
Right.
Friday.
I will send out a Zoom link. And anybody who wants to participate, I guess, is welcome to participate. And
Yeah.
but the real thing I have to have, it is in that Google folder, y'all. It's in that big, huge shared Google Drive that we have, Google folder we have, which
Yeah,
now has
send it
20
email.
million things in it.
please.
So it needs to get that folder is impossible to get through because it's just got,
Yeah, send it by email, please.
okay. Yeah, okay. All right. So that's that topic. All right. What's next?
The last agenda item is deliverables and funding meeting dates for next year. And that's from Cindy, if Cindy is available to talk about that.
Yeah, I am. So deliverables, I sent Shauna an email with the ones that I think are, there's a very short list of pending deliverables. Which today, as Shauna said, today is a deliverables day. So those will be, good. Sorry, Shauna, I see you're holding your face. I'm so sorry.
I know. I caught up for a minute. There was a minute in August when I caught up and then I just got behind again. But the big
A
thing
hurricane.
is we don't have the September. We're supposed to turn in quarterly reports, y'all. So we're behind one quarterly report. And
contracts.
oh shit, I forgot about the contracts. So Dustin, y'all will not be getting a new contract, but I need to write new contracts with Mike and Don, and we need to talk about Caitlin. And you're on top of that, right, Gary?
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about it yesterday.
Okay. All right. So
I think I sent in a new contract too right before the hurricane because my first one ended in July.
yeah, they got that one. So that one's fine, but it ended again September 30th. Everybody's did because the grants is on a November 1 to, October. Am I right saying this right, Cindy?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. So
Awarded September 22nd. So basically, yeah, October 1 to September 30th.
that's basically, so I'm writing new grants for the next year, new contracts for the next year.
Yeah. So did you happen to turn in my second voucher?
I did, but what they need is I have to turn in a final evaluation on you for performance last year. And I wrote it and then I realized I couldn't turn in that many cuss words. And so I have to clean it up. No, I haven't written it. But
I knew it.
I have to turn in an evaluation on you. They won't pay it until I turn in the final evaluation. I got that back and people are trying to help with that. Yes.
Well, so the good news is this dovetails right into the next little sub item on my little section, which was funding. So we got more funding awarded. Woo! It's like manna from heaven. It's like a miracle. So we really celebrate these things when we get extra funding.
Yeah.
For a study. And hopefully, Shauna, you'll be able to get somebody to give you a hand with all of this because you really have too much on your plate.
Yeah, so Jenny Shake Snyder has offered to, I don't know if y'all knew what happened with the student worker. We advertised it, y'all remember back in whenever, and we basically got 2 or 3 students. And when I contacted them about them was post Ida, and none of them were interested anymore. And I haven't had any more students interested, but she thinks she can find someone. So we're still working on that. And I'm going to be talking when I renew Mike's contract. He doesn't know this, but when I renew his contract, I'm going to be talking to him. I've already gotten permission from Harry. I'm going to talk to Mike about some additional hours as well. And, or maybe I talked to Gary and I don't remember who I talked to, but there were people in conversations. And
This is prima facie evidence why you need,
y'all, it's not just this, it's also, you know, I think that I think I'm on 4 or 5 separate grants now. I don't know. I know scientists do that all the time, but we don't do that when we're grading these big, huge annotated bibs from people. And anyway, it's just not stopping. So we're working on it.
Well, I hope we get that you're able to get somebody to help with all this sooner rather than later. Maybe
Yes.
2 people. You might need 2 people.
Yeah, we have the funding for it, and that's something, and certainly it's something that Jenny is highly motivated to do because I keep being late, which makes her late. She doesn't like that.
Good.
Yeah, but we do need to, Cindy, talk about next meeting dates. I think we just need to go ahead and set them. Several people have said it just helps. And
Yeah. Okay.
you have your calendar?
I have my calendar here, and you know, first or second Fridays was typically what we were doing. I will say the first Friday of December, I have to be at a wedding in Puerto Rico. So good friends of ours getting married. So that's the only first Friday that's not going to work for me for the first, you know, like through into next year and everything. So if we want to do December, if it would work for people to do Friday, December calendar 9th.
10th.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the 2022. I got both calendars here.
The 10th works for me.
So maybe
Hey.
we could do December 10th, and then for in 2022 do all of those first Fridays work for me in 2022 as far as I can tell right now. So I don't know about you guys, what works for everybody else.
That's January 7th, February 4th, and March 4th.
March 4th, yep. Then April Fool's Day, that's a favorite.
No, so that won't work. April's going to get tricky because we have, I have meetings in April and March get really,
Okay,
everybody got meetings and stuff. So that gets really difficult. I mean, I can go through March 4th,
okay.
right? We can talk about April. What do y'all think? Is that December 10th, January 7th, February 4th, and March 4th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Harry's in my age. That's as far as we like to plan ahead.
Yeah, and you'll have to figure out what to do with me. I'm going to retire on January 1st. I'm turning the paperwork in this Monday. Which means that you'll have to figure out how to get me on the computer system, the Nicholls State computer system. After that. I don't know how you can do that. I mean, there must be a way. And you can't pay me.
Yeah, no, I know we can't pay you, but we can still give you a title.
Yeah. Flunky. I want it to be flunky.
Okay. Well, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, but Harry, there's nothing to figure out. All you have to, they'll just send you the Zoom link via email.
Okay,
So that won't be a problem.
No, it won't. No.
okay, that's fine. The
Yeah.
simpler, the better.
Well, and the Moodle, right, Harry, you'll need to get into the Moodle and
Yeah.
do that now on your personal computer.
Yeah, I
luck.
think I can.
Okay.
Good
I
luck.
can't spell it, but I can get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike's having problems getting in, so we need to figure that out.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, I'll be with you guys anyway, even after I retire.
Okay, so then the next meeting is, right now, it's, some of us are meeting next Friday in 1 week to talk about the list of documents, but
On November 12th, is that correct?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
And then the next official bigger meeting will be December 10th.
And John Primo, our contact, our studies department contact up in Sterling at BOEM headquarters, he is ill today. He was sorry he couldn't make it to the meeting, and I'm sure he'll want to attend the one next Friday about the list.
Okay. I'll be sure and send him an invite.
Awesome, thanks.
Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, people should say, I guess I shouldn't send it to the whole group. If you, Dustin, do you want to come to the invite that Mike, Dustin, do any of y'all want to come?
On next Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay.
Just send it out and to everyone, and anybody that wants to show up, you can show up. You know,
Okay.
everybody has something to
Yeah.
say.
Yes, I'm happy to send it out. I just, I just kind of feel bad for Kathleen because she gets bombarded with all this stuff, and I know she doesn't want to do everything.
She must be used to it by now, aren't you, Kathleen?
I think she's had to go.
Oh, okay.
She's still here. She's still here.
Oh, she's still here. Kathleen's still here. She's just doing her things. Okay.
I just have to unmute. I'm fine with it, Sean, if you send me stuff. It
Okay.
lets me know, keeps me in the loop kind of thing. And then if I need to contact you when you have something going on and say, okay, about 2 cents in, then, I know it's happening.
That's
Yeah.
great. Y'all don't forget to copy down the link for Caitlin's presentation. And what time is that?
It's a poster session, so it starts at 7:15. And I went and tried to find it, and all I have is a PDF of that Zoom link, which is
Okay.
pretty hard for me to copy that, but I'll try
Yeah.
to figure it out. Maybe Caitlin will figure it out.
Or send the PDF. We can type.
Okay.
So it's well, Caitlin posted it in the
Okay.
Mhm.
in the chat, but it starts at 7:15 p.m. tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
good.
And
Well,
we're not totally sure how it's going to work since it's a poster session. You might be invited in almost like into a little Zoom room. I think that's how it might be.
Okay. Great.
And before I hang up, I wanted to say something about what Gary said, which is, these can evolve into papers later. And, we have a lot of skills and stuff that we can bring students that want to write papers. And, that's something that I'd like to volunteer to help with if people are interested in producing papers too. It's, something that I think people that work in this project ought to get from us. Advice, help, editing, all of that. That's all, I think that that's something that working on this project ought to be something that the coders have available to them if they really want their work to morph into, say, writing papers. That's all I
I
wanted to
appreciate
say.
that, Harry. Thanks for offering your services.
Okay, I have one more quick agenda item. I sat in on Shauna's class on Wednesday.
Oh, that's
And I don't know, are people going to show up next Wednesday? Maybe we ought to figure that out now.
Yeah, I invited anybody who wants to show up next Wednesday that they're welcome to. I don't know who has time.
I do next Wednesday.
Okay,
I would like to be included on the invite.
absolutely. But are you available at 12:55? I mean 12:50 on Wednesday?
I think so.
Okay, I just assumed you weren't.
Count me in. I definitely would like to do that.
Okay,
Send me
PM
an
on it.
invite.
I have to tell y'all that Don told some good, related his experiences to sort of, the coastal region and how they were connected. And after he hung up, the students are like, he really lived all those places? And I'm like, yeah, he really did. They're like, they didn't ask him any questions because they're like too shy. And I think we're going to do it all on Zoom next time because he couldn't see all the students. So it didn't work real well to have them in the classroom.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I talked the whole hour.
Oh, it worked out fine. It's an hour and 30-minute class. So I was able to talk to him afterwards. So they got their stuff, but they were like, they were pretty wide-eyed when you hung up. They were pretty like, wow.
Yeah, the students in Louisiana are surrounded by people who do not move out of town. That's a South Louisiana thing to stay where you were born.
Well, I'm disappointed. I didn't know it was an hour and a half class. I had another half hour.
Gary, I've been sending out job announcements that are shared with me for all kinds of jobs, but they're not in Louisiana. And everyone I'm sending these job announcements, they said, well, so they'll send me an email back. You don't have any jobs in Louisiana. I'm not moving. It's like,
Yeah. We
They
try
didn't
to
grow up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's the thing.
Hey, excuse me, y'all. I have a parent-teacher conference at
Yeah.
10:30, so I gotta jump off.
Well,
Couple things though. Kathleen, your stuff about Avoca Island may be really applicable to what I want to talk about at the SFAAs, and I'd love to maybe hear some more about that. That's in March though, so we have some time.
okay.
And
then I may have a minute after we, since it's in March, because right now November is crazy and December is going to be crazy.
right,
And
that's
after
just
the
somewhere
first
down the
week,
line.
it'll be better. We
And
hope.
then Dustin and Shauna, are we gonna meet again, or what do we need to do about the posters?
I haven't. I know I need to put them into the. I don't know what's in the in the folder.
Do we want to meet sometime again, or
Is there stuff in the folder?
I started some preliminary stuff on there, but after this meeting, my plan was to take some time and.
as was mine.
But I do have a document folder.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got some stuff. Maybe why don't we hang around? Let everybody else. Why don't we let Gary close the meeting and we'll hang around for a minute.
Well, I got to run, so y'all just.
We'll just talk and we'll just let you know because.
Okay. And one more thing, kind of personal, Gary. I'm gonna head over your direction and visit with some friends in Thibodeau if we can keep in contact and maybe catch up while I'm over there.
Okay, that'd be great. Let's email each other.
Okay. All right. Thanks, y'all. I gotta run.
Okay.
Have a good
Okay.
weekend.
Yes, thank you. Y'all too.
Good luck, Mike.
Guys, I'm gonna get off too because I have to get ready to leave to go to Baton Rouge. But I'll share with you the reason I'm going to Baton Rouge. I'm going to LSU. I'm invited to participate on the LSU Mounds Committee for the preservation. They're trying to get funding to, help with preserving, because, one of the mounds is eroding really bad.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm going.
You're on that. That's wonderful.
So.
That's awesome. You can remind them that the word Baton Rouge comes from the home of people.
I know.
They forget that all the time.
We were driving in Baton Rouge with one of my coworkers, and they said something about, because I made a right turn or something on red or something. She said, "Aren't you worried about, a ticket or anything?" I said, "No." I said, "Baton Rouge belongs to me."
That's funny, Kathleen. I love that.
I love it. That's awesome.
Okay, thanks
So
for
y'all
being here.
take care. So
Take
have a
care.
good
Thanks,
weekend.
Kathleen.
Okay.
I think we're all
Okay.
adjourning, right?
Yes.
We're all done. All right.
Congrats,
Bye,
Dustin.
thank
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks for being
Bye.
here, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
End in meeting.
Yes. So